encourage you, if students reach out to you from Kazakhstan and they don't know about Education USA or they're not aware of all of our services, to remind them that there's somebody there to help them on the ground. So we will definitely help on your end, and please help on our end in helping the students get in touch with our offices. Offering financial aid to the targeted audiences. I think Donna did a really good job of explaining how things have changed in the most recent times with the devaluation of the currency, fluctuation, as well as changes in different scholarship programs. So while many students have some type of funds to put towards their education, they will be in need of some type of financial aid. So when you're talking to students or possibly coming to Kazakhstan on our tour, definitely make sure that you have your numbers at your fingertips to be able to help those students better understand how they might fit in financially into your institution. Definitely showcase success stories. Share your students' perspectives. Reach out to Kazakhstan students on your campus. Possibly have them do a short YouTube video in their native language, whether it's in Russian or even in English, and share it with our Education USA offices. I think, as you probably know, we can talk all about the wonderful things of getting an education in the United States, but students really respond when they hear from their peers and they see someone like them that they can identify with who's actually in the United States and doing what they want to do and pursuing their dreams to study abroad. We have pre-departure orientations at all of our Education USA centers across the world. And so as students deposit and commit to coming to your college or university, definitely encourage them to reach out to Education USA and to have them attend our orientation programs. We work very closely with our consular colleagues and other staff members within the embassies or the consulates to put on very thorough pre-departure orientations. In these sessions, we'll talk about what to do prior to leaving Kazakhstan, what to pack. We'll have a consular officer on hand to talk about the student visa application process, and then we'll go over port of entry procedures as they enter into the United States, things that they can and can't bring, different forms that they'll have to fill out along the way, and then, of course, cultural adjustment. It's great, these sessions, often we will have alumni that will come in and share their perspective as well. And it really is not only for students, but it's also for parents too. It really is one of our favorite presentations to give because we know how hard students have gotten to get to the point of getting accepted to your institutions, and we want to just make sure that they have a smooth and safe journey as they travel to your campuses. So they also build a family, invite prospective students to connect with your current students and alumni during the research or the application process. Once again, if you have Kazakh students on your campus already studying and you have a student who's inquiring about your institution from Kazakhstan, feel free to put them in touch with each other. I think the great thing with social media and all our connections that there's so many ways that our students can connect. We also invite parents of current students to talk with parents of tentative students. If you end up coming on our tour, I highly encourage you to find the parents of students who may be currently studying on your campuses. Invite them to the fair. Invite them to meet some of your students in Kazakhstan or some students in Kazakhstan who might be considering. I think parents, as you know, play a crucial role in a student's decision and where they go. And so this could definitely be a helpful tip as you recruit. And lastly, the university website, pages for international students with information about OPT, CPT, internships, having a designated student service page to provide assistance is also extremely helpful. Donna and I will be at NASA at the end of this month in Los Angeles. We will have specific hours at the Education USA booth, and we will also be at the poster session that will have all of our Education USA advisors that are attending NAFSA with their country tables sharing information of facts and handouts and there to answer any questions that you might have. So I highly encourage you to contact us if you'd like to meet us at NAFSA if you're going as well. And we look forward to continuing our conversation and to having a face-to-face chat with you. You also will probably know that the Education USA Forum in Washington, D.C. will be the end of June, July, beginning of August, and registration has also opened up for the forum. So if we don't see you in Los Angeles, hopefully we'll see you in Washington, D.C.
Okay, thank you, Karen. Um, Currently, I will turn it over to Megan Tetrick, who will talk about partnership opportunities with local universities. Megan?
Great, thanks, Donna. Can you hear me?
No.
Yes, yes,
Great. Okay.
yes.
Well, just following up on everything that Donna and Karen have said, I think I just want to reiterate Donna's point about personal contact with students here in Kazakhstan and how important that is. We see that over and over again with our exchange programs in particular that, while students in other countries or in the US may, be able to get a lot of their information from the website and feel really satisfied with that, um, folks here really, really want that personal touch and that personal connection in order to be, completely pulled in and interested in whatever university they're looking at. So can't stress the importance of that enough. Can we go ahead to the next slide, Donna? Great, thanks. Okay, so some of you may have heard or may not have heard about Astana hosting Expo 2017. And if you're wondering what Expo is, it is kind of basically the successor to the World Fair. And yes, they still do that. And Kazakhstan will be hosting one this summer starting on June 10th on future energy. And so they have built an entire expo site here in the capital that's quite exciting. People are looking forward to seeing all the pavilions of different countries and different companies and all of their displays of different technology. And they're expecting anywhere from 2 million or more visitors coming through Astana to the expo. The vast majority of those visitors will actually be folks from Kazakhstan, from the regions, from Astana, from Almaty, who will be coming through the pavilions. And it's very typical for expo events that locals are some of the main attendees of the event. And we will, of course, have a US pavilion at Expo, and we're working on building that out right now, and it should be ready soon. We will have a little area in kind of, our show has three main parts, kind of a pre-show staging area, a main show, and then a post-show. And the post-show space is where several of the US companies who are sponsoring the pavilion will have space, and we will also have space there as the US Embassy. And we will be featuring our programs that we operate here in Kazakhstan, including Education USA, as well as our American corner. So that's going to be a really great opportunity for us to reach out to folks and let even more people here in Kazakhstan know about Education USA, answer questions about studying in the US. That's a very popular question. A lot of folks do want to know more information about it, and I think one of the things that we certainly try to push frequently in all of our conversations at universities and with interested and prospective students is something Donna also mentioned, that there are more schools than Harvard, Stanford, and Yale,
And there are a lot of really, really great universities in the US, many that perhaps they're not as familiar with. So we try to get them familiar with some of those institutions. Again, we don't promote any one particular institution, but we can certainly share information that we have, and we try to get people to broaden their mindset a little bit. And one thing that will certainly help with that at Expo is we will have 40 student ambassadors who will be in the pavilion, basically working with folks, kind of guiding them through the whole event and talking with folks after the show, before the show. They will be some of the people that for some people may be the first American they've ever met. And these are all American students who have just finished or are still in university in the US. And so they are going to be great advocates for study in the US as well, because they'll be talking about their own schools, their friends' schools, and what it's like to study in the United States and why it's such a great experience that is very much unlike studying here in Kazakhstan or even in Europe or Russia. So we're really excited to have that opportunity, and those students will also be blogging and sharing their stories from Expo while they're there. And also, as part of Expo, around Expo this summer, there will be a number of events and conferences related to future energy and other topics that Kazakhstan is planning to host. One of them will be hosted by Bolashak, the Center for International Programs, as well as the Bologna Process Center here in Kazakhstan on education. And Donna mentioned some of the reforms that are taking place with trilingual education, and then also the modernization of the higher education system here in Kazakhstan, specifically with the universities and granting them more autonomy. They've traditionally been very tightly controlled by the Ministry of Education, and they're going to get a lot more freedom. Some of them already have, and they will be getting more freedom in the next year. And that is actually really great news for partnerships with US institutions, because it kind of breaks down some of those bureaucratic barriers that have been challenging in the past in terms of universities forming relationships directly with one another. So we, from the embassy perspective, have been really encouraging US universities to partner and to explore partnerships here in Kazakhstan, because there is so much opportunity here in terms of what the reforms are focusing on in the country, from English teaching and training English teachers. Like Donna said, they will be teaching classes in schools, science classes, computer science classes in English. And unfortunately, right now, they simply don't have enough teachers with a high enough level of English to teach all of those classes as they have set out in their own goals for themselves. So the Ministry of Education is very eager for opportunities to train teachers. We understand from our last meeting with them last week that they'll be bringing in more teachers next year. They're looking for native speakers to come here to Kazakhstan, as that is something that is much cheaper from their perspective than to send all of their teachers abroad to study. So as we get more information about exactly what they're looking for and what that program is, we'll certainly be happy to share that with all of you. We also have heard that they're interested in seeing US universities open satellite campuses or different department offices here in Kazakhstan. They're really interested in having US universities represented here on the ground in Kazakhstan. And they have also been, in the last year, inviting foreigners to serve in top-level management positions at universities around the country. And that has been one of the ways that they're trying to bring in the leadership and different perspectives to reform their universities. So the topic of internationalization in education is very, very popular here. And there will be the conference that Donna has listed here on the slide in Astana, June 23rd and 24th, and in Almaty, the 26th and 27th, to discuss possibilities of collaboration between partners. And so we will, of course, be represented there, and we're bringing a couple of different speakers to talk about, how this is done. And we've been trying as the embassy to help facilitate those partnerships. We've heard from quite a few representatives from U.S. universities. They'd be interested in partnering. They don't know enough about the universities here in Kazakhstan. We're happy to try to provide any information that we have. We've actually created a whole guide to Kazakhstani universities that has little snapshots about information of some of our key partners that we have worked with out of the 127 universities in the country. So we're always happy to help facilitate those partnerships as best as we can and connect you with any universities that might have relevant programs of interest to you. Okay, next slide. Okay, and then I'm sure several of you are familiar with the U.S. Commercial Service. We do have a representative here in Kazakhstan. They are located in Almaty at our consulate there. And some of the services that you're probably familiar with from other countries, they also offer here. So they will have a matchmaking program with student recruitment agents. And that will be just after the Education USA tour. So if you are interested in that, the email addresses of our commercial service colleagues are listed here, and you're welcome to reach out to them and they can talk to you more about the specifics of their services and their connections with agents here in Kazakhstan. Next, I think that's it. Right? Yes. All right, great. So thank you for your attention, and please do feel free that if you have any questions for me about opportunities for partnership or any broader questions, I'd be happy to discuss those. Successful partnerships with U.S. higher education, that's a question. I can actually, there is a university here in Astana, the Agrotech University, and they have a really strong partnership, probably one of the strongest I've seen in the country so far, with UC Davis. And they have been doing a lot of professor exchanges, and I think they're also moving into some student exchanges at the master's degree level. And that university is trying very, very hard to modernize their curriculum and to really look at how they can make agriculture more relevant to students, because there are a lot of opportunities in agriculture in Kazakhstan, but unfortunately a lot of students are much more interested in going into businesses or startups or working with oil companies. And so this university is really looking on how to modernize their offerings and attract students to the field of agriculture. And so their partnership with UC Davis has been really fruitful for them in that regard. The two events in June, we could share more details with anyone who's interested. I don't know that we have a full program, but they are conferences sponsored by the Ministry of Education here in Astana, and they will be focusing on the internationalization of education, trilingualism, and partnership opportunities between universities overseas and universities here. So I don't know if that answers the question, but it'll basically be a similar event in Astana and then also in Almaty.
That we have identified technology has come up with. No, we just have come across, you have mentioned they're homeless, but then we asked if you were it is. Yeah. Mm. 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 Mm.